Welcome to Our View. I am the producer and the host, Lorrie Hull Smithers. And I want you to know what times this show is played on Channel 17. It plays on Saturday afternoon at 5:30 p.m., on Sunday at 11:30 a.m., Monday at 3:30 a.m., and I'm sometimes up that late to see it, and also at 11 a.m. Then Thursday evening it plays at 8:30 p.m. Now, we are going to show a clip involved with an evening with Ben Ferguson. Okay? Let it roll.
Hi, and welcome. I'm Ari. And I'm Danny. And I'm so excited to announce the news that was just released yesterday that the Ben Ferguson Show will air by the end of this month. There have been rumors that the show wouldn't air until next year, but it's official. We are just 2 weeks away. The buzz is all over Santa Barbara. We are here to talk to the people and get their incredible, exciting reactions about the show. Have you heard the news about the Ben Ferguson Show?
Yes.
Yeah?
We love Ben Ferguson.
Love Ben Ferguson. So did you hear the news?
I did. I'm really excited.
I'm not sure if we'll get it back home in Derbyshire. Might maybe get it in London.
Yeah, we're really excited. Our mom told us about it.
We don't have stuff like this in Idaho, so this is going to be a big thing for us. I'm going to send to all my friends up there.
So I said, okay, we have to take a trip over here just for that because I was looking forward to it.
We just heard about it yesterday and we're super excited. People from across the globe, young and old, are going to tune into the Ben Ferguson Show right here. Tune in. Thank you.
Welcome to the evening show with Ben Ferguson. I'm Dominique Samario, and on tonight's show, Ben welcomes the fabulous Mr. Alistair Green, the leader of the Alistair Green Band, as well as the lead guitarist for the Alan Parsons Live project. We also have the extremely talented and funny comedian Kat Wagner. But now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ben Ferguson!
Thank you. What a crowd. Thank you guys very much. Welcome to the evening show. I'm Ben Ferguson, as Dominique mentioned, and I will be your host. Just want to say a lot of exciting things happening in town now. Everybody watching the World Cup? You guys following that? You know, I was watching that the other day with some friends, and I made a comment about the game, and the guy said to me, you know what, you're an American, you know nothing about soccer. What are you talking about? And I said to him, every American plays soccer. They just play it until somebody throws them a football. You know, I played soccer. My career in soccer was in 7th grade. It lasted about 4.5 minutes. I ran all the way down the field. I turned around, ran all the way back. At least I think it was soccer. I never did see the ball. And I ran all the way back to the other end, did it 3 times, and I was done. I went to the sidelines and sat there, and the teacher said, Ferguson, you're going to get a 0 if you don't come back out on the field. And I said, you know, that's fair. I like that. You know, it's the best deal I ever made. So I kind of stopped playing at that point. Anyway, it's really fun watching the professionals. Man, they can play. Those guys are something else. I was watching a guy. He kicked the ball. Now, the ball's about 90 miles an hour, and the other guy jumps up, hits him square in the face. In the face, ball in the face. 90 miles an hour, boom, he scores. Now, he's jumping up and down just as happy as can be, right? Everything's good so far. But now I see the same guy 5 minutes later running to the other end of the field. The opponent brushes up against his shoulder. He falls on the ground, screaming and yelling in pain. I'm thinking, this is a guy that just got hit in the face with a ball, and he was laughing, and now he gets brushed up. I got to learn the rules a little bit more. Anyway, it's a beautiful host country, though, Brazil. Everybody like the shots they're showing of Brazil? I was extremely lucky enough to visit Rio de Janeiro several years ago, and I remember the first day I got there, I walked out of the hotel, I looked up, saw the beautiful mountain, looked over and I saw the coast right next to it, and I thought, you know, this is very similar to Santa Barbara. I mean, the similarities are uncanny. You know, beautiful beaches, Santa Barbara, beautiful beaches. Beautiful women, Santa Barbara, beautiful women. Only one difference in the women in Rio, they actually smiled once in a while. Huh? You know, another similarity that I found extremely exciting was they have what's called carnival. Carnival is where the women basically disrobe and glue feathers to their bodies and prance around the streets. And I thought we have the same thing here, except it's the men who do it, and we call it the solstice parade.
Okay, now it is my pleasure to introduce to you, our viewing audience, the real Ben Ferguson, who is sitting here beside me. Congratulations, Ben, on your new show, An Evening with Ben Ferguson.
Thank you very much.
I saw your first show, and it was really great, and I'm sure you're going to have some wonderful shows to come.
Well, I truly appreciate you having me on this show. It means a lot, and I know you've been doing this for, I found out, 15 years?
I think it's 16
16
now.
years?
Yes.
Well, good. Yeah, we've just started the show, and as you saw, our little promotion that we had, and
Yes.
we've done a couple of shows now, and it's really exciting. It's starting to make sense. We're doing things and learning as we go.
That's great.
Yes.
And I also thank you for buying my book.
Oh, yes, your book on the Strasberg's method of acting.
Right. I taught for Lee Strasberg for over 12 years.
You know, I about a year ago, I decided, I looked in the newspaper and I saw an acting class. And I thought, you know what, I took acting in college, did rather well, and then haven't done anything since. And I thought it's time to do it again. So I took an acting class, and then I took an improv class. And then I meet you, and I find out that you're teaching acting.
Yes.
Right? Here, Santa Barbara, and in Santa Monica, is that right?
Yes, I teach private lessons here in Santa Barbara. And in Santa Monica, my daughter Diane and I teach together a Wednesday night class. And we also have an upcoming intensive that we have new people come in who want to learn about the method, as well as others who want to hone their craft, and that's from September 15th to 20th.
Like to hone their craft. It's fun
Right,
just to say
hone their craft.
Hone their craft.
And because actors are constantly training.
Right.
It's a never-ending process.
The training I had was in Carpinteria by the lady by the name of Asa. And it was a 6-week thing, and I said, listen, the only thing I want out of this class is to be able to be in a play that somebody has to pay for to go see. That was my goal. And it worked out to where I read for Scrooge in Carpinteria.
Yes.
And I got the part of the school teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the most important part in the whole play, because he's the one that messes the kid's life up so bad that he turns into a Scrooge. So anyway, that was a lot of fun.
Well, I was pleased to meet you when you volunteered to be a camera person on my show, and then I'm pleased that you bought my book. And
yes, technically I am your crew. I am a crew member of yours,
Right,
and will
right.
continue to be,
Right.
even as all my success happens. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I know your book. When I did take the class, I told you there was a gentleman here in town, Peter Hirsch, and I called him, and the day before I was going to do some improv, and I was just freaked out of my mind. And I looked up in the computer an acting coach, and his name came up. And so I kind of went to his house and kind of did what I was supposed to do, and that really helped me get through the nervousness about
well,
it.
improvisation is chapter 7 of my book.
That's what
and
I
it's
understand.
It's a very important part of the training, because sometimes something goes wrong, and the actor just has to improvise to get out of it and get back on track.
Yes, and when I was doing the play, there was one night. It was I think we did it 6 nights. Anyway, I messed up on one thing, and then somebody said, Ben, nobody out there knows the script.
That's right.
You could say something else and you'll be fine. So after that, I was fine. I looked good after that.
And I've directed over 200 shows.
Wow.
And I've never allowed a prompter the nights of performances, because they're all so well trained in thinking and feeling as a character and improvising, that if things go wrong, they can improvise, or their partner can improvise and get back on track, and the audience never knows the difference.
And those are the actors that you trained for that particular show.
Right.
Wow.
Because we break it down into units, and we improvise, and then we go back to the lines. And
Yeah.
it's important to be on the lines, but sometimes that doesn't happen.
Right, sure. You know, I bought your book, and I thought, I'm going to read your book before I come on your show.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you did. Is there anything you want to ask
Well,
me?
I was going to say, I got about a quarter of the way through it. There's a lot in there. It's not just like a novel. I mean,
That's right.
it's a whole lot of stuff in
It's
it.
the entire training.
Right. And I'm going to finish it, and I'm also going to, I committed to you that I'm going to go to Santa Monica and to one of your classes.
Great.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I know you have that week-long boot camp.
Intensive.
Intensive, excuse me. I'm kind of
September,
caveman.
it's every day from September 15th to 20th. But our regular class is on Wednesday nights.
Right.
And people have driven from San Diego, Santa Barbara, and different areas to
Yeah,
come
I
down
imagine.
to that
I'm
class.
going to drive down for the evening. Now, the Strasberg method, I had already knew a little bit about because of the class that I took last year with Asa. She talked all about, there was a couple different people, and Strasberg was one of them, and said how, so when I saw this, I was like, and you knew him. But incredible.
Well, Diane and I both taught for him.
Now, Diane's your daughter.
Yes.
And that's another thing I have to mention. Last night I was going through the bios and reading about you, and I thought, well, I'm going to read about Diane because you mentioned that she had been in some films. When I was a kid, my brother and I took the bus to go see a movie called Aloha, Bobby and Rose.
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
that
I bet
she
it
did.
is. I looked it up and I saw Diane Hall. She was Rose, and I just started jumping up and down. I know this lady. Yeah, that is really neat.
And that year, that was the biggest moneymaker for Columbia Pictures.
It was a huge movie because
It
I remember
really-
seeing
it
it was
really
one of
was
the.
huge,
That's what
yes.
we did as kids is went to movies and Aloha, Bobby and Rose, and I'm going. I get my iPad and I think I can buy it and rewatch it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I saw the trailer for it. I watched that last night and I'm like, wow. And she also did. She did a lot of them, Onion Field and a lot of them, but she did
Right.
Pippi Longstocking. When I was a kid,
Yes.
that was my favorite book in the 3rd grade because she had a monkey and I like monkeys. So
She played the mother of the children
she
next
played the mother of the
door.
neighbor kids in
Right,
the New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so you got a lot of talent going on at your house. Now she teaches the classes with you.
Yes, we teach together.
Yeah. So I didn't get this far, but I was going through, and you're with all the big heavy hitters. Shelley Winters,
Well, I just
Cloris
had
Leachman.
pictures of people who were involved in the classes. Like you're looking at Cloris Leachman.
Right.
And for 10 years, she sent me
Can you see that?
She sent me scholarship students.
Right.
And Shelley did too.
Shelley Winters. Shelley
Laura
Winters, I
Dern
remember
was
from.
one of her goddaughters. She sent me several goddaughters. Yes.
And this is the one I wanted to chat real quick about. You're sitting on Kirk Douglas's lap. Yeah.
I was visiting in New York. They
Right.
were shooting in New York because Diane was playing Kirk Douglas's daughter in the arrangement
Wow, the
directed by
arrangement. That was the other
Kazan.
one. Yes.
And Kirk just insisted that I very gentlemanly sit in his chair.
So it was Kirk that insisted.
Kirk insisted,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
And I insisted he sit there because he was the one working and had to rest, you know. He said, I tell you what, we'll both sit there. And he pulled me down in his lap and said to the Life photographer, now take a picture of us.
Isn't that neat?
Because there was a guy there from Life who was taking pictures of Kazan directing
Right.
this.
And he signed it too, I noticed.
Yeah, so
He
most of
dedicated-
my directing chapter in the book, when you get there, are things that I learned just picking Kazan's brains, following him around.
Yeah.
Because Diane acted for him in a movie, and then he wrote a role for her in a play
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
that he did in New York and at the Hartman Theater in Connecticut.
Very interesting. When I get to that part, one thing I noticed, I wasn't sure a year ago what I wanted to do, right? When I saw the acting class, I took that and I took the improv class, right? It scared the
now
heck
you-
out of me, both of them. So I decided, do I want to act? So I did some acting, loved it. I really liked it. Then I did some improv, and then I found out about your show and the other shows here and decided I want my own show. Now, I grew up in the 70s watching Johnny Carson and David Letterman. That's what I know. That's what I want. You know, so I'm thinking.
And you do a good job too.
Well, thank you, thank you. No, I wanted to
Santa
have.
Barbara's Johnny Carson.
I'm Santa Barbara's. Oh, what a compliment
That's what we'll
that would
call
be.
you.
So anyway, I wanted to have an announcer like Ed McMahon. So we have Dominique Samario. She was a guest on your show not too long ago.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, isn't she perfect?
Oh, she was a wonderful guest.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And then I had Rod Latham, and they're the first two guests you had.
Well, and I got to
You
tell you,
met him on my show.
I was your cameraman when Rod Latham was on
Right.
here, and I snuck out to the parking lot and asked him to be my first guest. I thought I might get in trouble or something, so I didn't want to tell you.
No, I
But
didn't
then I didn't
mind.
realize you'll see it later, and
I didn't mind. It's just give me credit.
I'm going to give you credit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wasn't sure of the politics here, so I kind of kept it on the
Yeah.
DL. Yeah,
I think we all promote each other.
Yeah.
And help each other with our shows.
definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I've learned a lot just from being the cameraman here on your show.
Right.
The guests that you've had, the lady the other day from Montecito that wrote a book about her life.
Yes.
What was her name?
Doris Kuhn.
Man, was that a good book.
It was, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. That's tell what is the name again? The book's called. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, Doris
Well, remember it when you come on
her
my
memoir.
show.
It's by Doris Kuhn, Kuhn.
Yeah.
And that book is sold at Telecate, I think that's the way you
Montecito, Upper
pronounce
Village,
it. in Montecito, and my book is sold there too.
Really?
And both of our books are also sold at the Granada bookstore.
That's where I found it.
My book and DVDs on acting and
And didn't you
Doris's
say you
book.
can also go to Amazon and get your book?
Yes. My book and DVDs have been on Amazon since the beginning.
Wow.
And that's what I suggest you could do with the book that your mother wrote, this memoir. Can we get a picture here? I read this and I just loved it.
Thank you.
Now, as you know, Doris and your mother are both my era.
Yeah.
I identify with so much that they both
You
said.
know, she would always tell me different stories, and I'm like, you have to read it. Because she had, first 10 years, she had a lot, you know, that happened.
Yes, I admire her very much.
Well, I appreciate you saying
But
that.
her relationship with her father was very similar to mine. I thought my father was one of the most wonderful people alive. And I'll tell you another story involved with a famous person. Now, this is gossip.
Okay, I like gossip.
Jocelyn Brando, Marlon's sister, was a good friend of ours. And I remember a conversation where I said to her, oh, my father was so kind and gentle and so smart. He had 100 people in his employ, and they all were so grateful. You know, it was during the Depression. And I said, he's just the most wonderful man I've ever known. And Jocelyn said, well, time sort of dims our memories. He probably wasn't as great as you thought. And Diane spoke up and said, oh, yes, he was, Jocelyn. He was unique. Now, the background of that story was the Brando father was an alcoholic. And wasn't that great?
So Jocelyn had her own problems.
So she was remembering how, you know, she couldn't remember her father like your mother and I remembered our fathers.
Yeah, you guys are just lucky that you had such a
We were lucky we had such wonderful fathers.
That's nice.
Your mother and I both.
Yeah.
So.
I want to talk about me now.
All right. What brought you to
Love
Santa
your
Barbara,
stories.
and what do you want to tell us?
I want to talk about the show. I'm excited about this show. Santa Barbara.
You have a three-piece music group?
We have a three-piece band. Yeah, the whole idea was, here's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to come up with commercials. Because in my show, I wanted to say, hey, we'll be right back, you know, like they do when there's a guest. So we decided to do promos, right, for a minute long, and maybe we can use them in our show. And the station's been nice enough they've been playing it a lot during the week.
So let's show a promo now.
Yeah, let me tell you about the first one. The first one we did were the two girls on State Street, right?
We saw that.
We saw that one, right. And in the next one, now I'm starting to get like a fancy thinking I'm going to do this international commercial. And it was in my head, I'm going to have a guy running through the south of France. I'm going to have 4 different languages. The viewer's not going to know what it is until the very end. And anyway, this is how it played out.
Okay.
Ichiban all Itzaktoy Ben Ferguson. Vous les étoiles Jean et le Benjamin Ferguson. Unschleiten et del Twaken et le Benjamin Ferguson. Ngo a chango a chitsui I chao Ben Ferguson.
The Evening Show with Ben Ferguson.
El show de Benjamín va a empezar. El show de Benjamín va a empezar. Apúrate, apúrate, siéntese. La comida, las bebidas, la comida, siéntese. Ya, apúrense. Ya.
There it is, my directorial debut.
Well, you captured the south of France beautifully.
Did you like that?
I was just there. We went through Paris in order to teach a workshop in London, which we taught last year.
Wow, okay.
Because of a service dog. And Heathrow had problems, but we could go through Paris. And that beauty was there that you captured somewhere near here.
Yeah, that was in Isla Vista near Devereux by Sands Beach, is that right? Yeah, Sands Beach. There's a little wooded area, and we took advantage of that, and then ended up in some neighborhood. But yeah, it's so fun for me to have these little things cooked up in my head and then actually see it played out.
So you're getting experience as a director, an actor, a master of ceremonies.
You know, I'm kind of
Many
trying to
areas
find
now.
out what it is I like best. But you know what I like
Why
best
not
is
do them all?
that's what the host of the show is
Sure,
perfect. Now I
sure.
can be my little actor on my show, and I can sit back and have guests come on and,
Right.
and have a band. The three-piece band is John Cantadella is his name. He's the guitar player. Then we have Isaac is the bass player, and Tommy is the drummer. And they're amazing.
And you
I
have
mean,
a live audience?
we just the crew and I
Oh,
try to
I
get people
see.
to make as much noise as they can.
Uh-huh.
We try to get friends to come in,
Uh-huh.
so a little bit of a live audience. But the band came together real quick, and they sound incredibly good. And
That's
so I'm
good.
really lucky having that. And the crew we have Ryan. He helped us on that last commercial that we saw. He was the cameraman and director, and he's directing our show.
And I thank him. He's a cameraman here.
Yeah. You got.
And I also have to thank Tyler Geck and
I'm
and
sorry,
Mark
Tyler is a cameraman on our show too.
Right. And I thank you being a cameraman. And now I want to thank Mark Milson for directing this show,
Is
because
it time to thank Mark?
he's one of the, I would say the best people here.
Yeah, oh yeah, Mark.
I think we have the best director.
I just confirmed that he's going to be a director on my show too.
Oh, wonderful.
Do you know that I just got a new producer, Maureen McFadden? I was talking to you earlier about this. This is one of the really neat things. When I first did my first show, it was really rough. There's all kinds of things going on in it that I didn't plan for. But anyway, she had called in the station and said, hey, I really like this show. And so actually somebody called in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she's a producer, and she's with McFadden and McFadden PR firm in Santa Barbara, one of the big leaguers. And so I'm working with her as far as supplying future guests.
She was the one that told you to tell me hello?
Yes.
I think we must have had her one time.
Maureen McFadden, yeah, I think you have.
Because, after doing shows for 16 years, I don't always remember everyone.
Yeah,
that we've
you remember her
interviewed.
though. Yeah, so Maureen McFadden and Dominique Samario.
Yes.
She's actually helping me with the opening. You saw her on the clip.
Yes.
Opening the show, and you know her quite well.
And I was pleased that I had a good interview of her, saying what she was going to do next, and then you were able to
I
continue.
ran out and took her in the parking lot like I did Rod Latham.
You were able to continue to let the viewing audience know what she's doing now.
Yeah, so I've stolen her, Rod Latham, Ryan, and Mark. So
you stole them all from me.
yeah, and Tyler. and what's your name?
Tyler.
Yeah, we're gonna have to steal her too.
Well, I don't mind sharing.
You know what? Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
kind of where
mind
our
sharing.
shows are kind of like brother sister kind of shows.
Right.
So yeah.
Now, I think Dominic is going to come down sometime during our intensive from the 15th to the 20th and do some filming, because she wanted to put up about our teaching on her show to show what she can do.
On her website.
On her website. And you were thinking you might come down with her, and
I am going to come down at some point, and maybe that could work out to where we both come down. I know
Right.
that she's helping me doing some, she is just extremely busy doing wonderful things. So I'm not saying that she's not coming. I'm just saying that what she's doing is really working out for her, which is wonderful. So yeah, I'm sure she'll come down and take pictures or whatever she does, videography or of your
Now,
your
we
boot camp.
have people who come to that intensive who stay at the hostel, which is 2 blocks away, including a guy that's older than you, who I'm hoping will get there.
Older than me, huh?
He's older than you.
All right.
He's a returned veteran.
Okay.
He's a returned veteran. He's
Yeah, I
trying to find a place to live in Santa Monica. And he has a big service dog, so
Didn't you tell me you
problems.
have people coming from all over the world for this
We
thing?
do. There's a man from England there right now taking private
Yeah.
lessons who has been in all of our intensives.
Well, in your book, you've taught some pretty big names that have come through in the years that you've had it.
Well, yes.
Well, I am going to take one of the classes, and I really do want to
Terrific.
follow some acting or do something locally, and I'd love a little
Terrific,
bit of
yes.
direction, yeah.
Yes.
And now I know where to go. I don't have to go to Carpinteria anymore. I can come right here.
So we have how many minutes left? 5 minutes left?
5 minutes left.
Okay. So
Wonderful.
is there anything you want to say in these last 5 minutes before we...
Oh, I could talk about me for the next half an hour. What I wanted to say about the show, as a kid, I think every kid growing up wants to be, the Tonight Show host, Johnny Carson.
There's now 4 minutes left,
That's
I
4
think.
minutes, so I better,
Yes.
yeah, okay. Well, there's going to be 3 in just a minute. Anyway, so we just had Alistair Green. He's the lead guitar player for the Alan Parsons Project. And we had a comedian come on, and I'm thinking, it's just such an incredibly fun thing to do.
Oh,
we're
yes.
pushing to make it better and better and better. And talk about promotions, we did another promotion. Our promotions are getting a little bit better. So I asked, all those other promotions we just saw, actually, excuse me, we went to the Union Hotel. It's in Los Alamos. It's an
Do you want to do one more promotion?
I want to do 2 more. So
well,
let's look at the
we better play them then because our time is running out.
Let's look at the Western one from the Union Hotel. No, we're not going to look at the Union Hotel. How about the other one? Just not going to happen, huh?
Okay.
Well, apparently they're.
Can we
apparently
play
it's
the
not gonna happen.
promotions?
They're telling us no, we can't play
I
the
guess
promotions.
there's a problem in the booth. Okay,
That
so
could be.
if they can bring the promotion up, and we'll just stop talking. Okay, you tell about them, however.
Okay, sure. So
we have the live thing here.
Yeah. There was
Okay.
a Western show. I drove through Los Alamos and I saw this little hotel called the Union Hotel, and it was right out of a Clint Eastwood movie, and that's another one of my very favorite things. Western movies. So we actually they gave us the hotel to use. And they even gave us a horse, and I dressed up like a cowboy, and we did a promotion there. And then the next one wasn't my idea. The next one I asked Ryan. He's a director, and I said I give him credit for it. I said, what can I do my next commercial for? What can it be? And he goes, how about a guy channel surfing, not being able to find anything, and all of a sudden you come on and talk to him on the TV, and I really like that idea. So I just changed it a little bit. I made it. It was myself.
Now we have 2 minutes left.
Now we have 2 minutes. It was myself on the couch talking to myself on TV. And anyway, that was fun.
So I'm sorry that we weren't able to play them, but I'm sure that people will see them off and on Channel 17.
Our
right?
next show will have both those commercials on. So yeah, you just guys watch that next show and you'll see both those commercials that we had.
And this show will play from the end of August to the end of September.
Yes, and by that time you will have already been on my show.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
So
anyway, the acting that you and I are gonna get together at your place in Santa Monica.
Yes.
So what can I expect if I walk into an evening class?
Everyone participates every time. We start with relaxation.
Okay.
So the actor clears himself physically, mentally, emotionally, so he or she can concentrate on what concerns him, and everyone relaxes.
Like a meditation?
Similar, but we have our own techniques, which are in the DVDs we've done, which again are for sale in Amazon Granada.
Yeah.
Right. We have examples in the DVDs, and some relax right along with that. And if you notice, I have a chapter in here, in the book, on relaxation.
Yeah.
And then everyone is allowed to do either a monologue or a scene for a critique. And
so you're supposed to come prepared to your class?
No, you don't have to. We can give you the material as if it's a audition, or you can bring in your own. Either way, whichever would be the most helpful to the actor.
Oh, good.
And if they're up for something, they bring it in. And we work with them.
I have something all ready to go for you. I think they're calling time's up, but I look forward to being your guest down there, and we'll just let you take it away.
Okay. I guess our time is up. And thank you, Ben. I'm looking forward to seeing your show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It looks most professional, and I'm sure our audience will enjoy it. And are we still...